wish I were big. Your wish is granted.
Michael, you really got yourself into trouble on that one, brethren. I got backup this time.
I say Dallas loses.
They really think you're Nostradamus. Mike Nostradamus, Narf the Mad. I brought him Narf the Mad up way earlier than he was expecting.
Yeah. Hey.
You got like. Do you still think that Mike is Nostradamus?
One pick, one damn pick that you make. First of all, kudos on the big reference. That was actually filmed next to my house in New York where I grew up.
Here come useless facts.
There's always a useless fact story. You know that.
Yes, I thank you. I mean, last week you guys were so enamored with Nostradamus that you were like, listen, if you watch the replay, he was taking all your picks for you. You didn't have to listen to him. If you listen to me, I went 11-3 last week, where Nostradamus went a good clean 8-6. So I mean, that's a big difference. That's not a small difference.
How was your unfantasy week?
Mine?
Yes, yours. He's asking.
No,
not same place. Oh, you're asking.
Battle Bunnies. I know you're good. I'm asking. Nothing but fumbles. How was your week 11?
You don't play just for 1 week, but it is what it is. So here we are in week 11. Can't believe it's week 11. I think I said that for week 10, 9, 8, and 7. But nevertheless, we're here. Mike, aka First and 70.3. It's been a while since you've ran the 70.3, I'm sure. Narf the Mad, a.k.a. the Battle Bunnies, drawn something cool. We're not giving any secrets away, are we here?
No. Well, if they see, then maybe they'll get an inkling into what's coming, but that's about it.
All right, hang out. Enough.
You caught me off guard, man. I was here working. I thought it was backstage. You were going to announce me and say, hey, and then all of a sudden I'm just here.
You were part of the intro here, so I wanted to make sure that you got in here because I had to confront you both here because you were both like looking at each. You and Krista were both like, Mike, what do you want from a pick? Like, and I'm just sitting here like chopped liver.
I don't remember that.
And well, it's taped, and I go 11-3. So, and I'll probably do that again this week. But anyways, Mike, anything that you want to say to start this thing off?
I mean, rolling the eyes, it's just an indicator on where this is going because now there is absolutely nothing that you have on me other than this little Zoltar video. But I have officially surpassed you in the standings yet again. So it took me 10 weeks, gave you a little bit of a buffer for 10 weeks to, enjoy, what life was like above me. Now you're looking up at me. So the week 11 standings are complete.
Now I'm looking down at you.
I am back in the top 10.
Now I'm looking down at you. Now I'm looking down at you. So here we go. You had to say that.
All good, brother. All good. Bottom line here is you got to change the way the images are portrayed on the video because you can't bear to look at the standings. But I'm just going to share my screen real quick and we can all embrace the moment.
I love you both. I take no sides. I'm just letting you know that.
That's all right. Well, I mean, Frank, you should be the one that shit talking the most because you're in 5th. But
I am. I thought I was in 8th.
There's my my graphic of nothing but fumbles falling below 70.3.
I'm in 10th place. What is your points and what are my points?
554.6 to 545.8.
And you're gonna brag over that?
I'm bragging right now because this is the current moment, the present.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's all good, man, because we got some really, really cool, exciting stuff to make announcements on this week. We have a really cool playoff format that we'll get into in a bit. Let's just start it off by, talking about what happened in this past week's games, just like we do every week. What did we see that we liked? What didn't we like and why? Where do you want to start, man?
No, man, I think you hit the nail on the head. Like, there's huge announcements here regarding the playoff format and the playoff structure. So, hi to Jack, hi to Linda. Jack was in last week's opening video and probably felt awful that his Vikings did that. And I picked that game. So, Jack, I apologize, man. I could have helped you ease your pain into that a little bit because I knew that was coming. Like, I'll make my picks this week, but the playoff structure, man, we are close, and I'm very excited that this is ironed out. So playoff structure, we'll go over that very soon. And we had chatted about doing some sort of wild card, which we will talk about today as well. So 2 big things to stick on. But yeah, let's jump into the week. Let's see who won, who lost, who came up just short, what they get, and go from there.
Perfect. So we'll start off with the UNfantasy League. So week 11, Team Dark Matter pulled out the absolute upset in the final minutes of last night's game. He did have the Arizona Cardinals offense playing, and Arizona threw an interception in the final minutes of last night's game, therefore springboarding him to the top of the standings for week 11. I was actually kind of looking forward to Mafia Bill's winning the week because he had it pretty much locked in until that final play. But Mafia Bills, if you recall, arguably, they produced one of the worst unfantasy weeks of the season, and it would have been really cool to see them pop all the way back up to the top of the charts. But they did come in 1 yard short. I think what really kind of gave them the edge was the 10 punts by the Jets. And I really think that in combination of the interception is really what made Dark Matter pull out the victory for the week.
Yep. Congrats to Dark Matter, his first weekly win, and Mafia Bills, who has not come close to any of this stuff, right? This week, yeah, Ash Mantoons got the win. Unfortunately, America's unfantasy team, which is kind of a pun on the Dallas Cowboys because the dude's a huge Cowboys fan. He is bottom of their which is the reverse of his real Cowboys team. So congrats to Ashman for knocking out the first win. Get 2 cards. America's unfantasy team gets 2 cards, and 1 yard short Mafia is going to get 1.
You said that he's a Cowboys fan, huh? So how ironic that he has the Minnesota's logo.
That's exactly it. Yes. So I was trying to say, I just started fumbling a little bit. But
we know you and your butt fumbles. So
say la vie. Yes, you do.
Cool, man. So yeah, I mean that's really the way the standings shaped up for week 11 on the overall side of things. Not much movement towards the top. Muffin Punts is still running the table, just shy of the 600-point threshold. Massholes coming in. There's a little bit of a separation compared to the way it was last week. So Muffin Punts is gaining a little bit of ground. Those all-important win-loss cards are really helping to keep both of those teams at the top of the charts. Battle Bunny's coming in the top 5. Linda and Goal Stoppers rounding out 6th. Right below, I don't know if I could read that, but I believe it's first and 70.3, followed by Nothing But Fumbles. So there's a nice little order of rounding out the top 8 there. First Down Punters coming in at number 10. Mad Max rocking it out at number 9. We got a really solid top 10 group thus far, separated 597.4 by 531.7. This is easily a 1 week swing.
Yeah, I mean, some of these people in here, like Keeping Up with the Joneses, Mac Jones on points, they were at the bottom just not too long ago. So there is some opportunity to move up. I'm glad that you kind of came up and made this competition a little bit because I've been up towards the top since week 2, and you've kind of been way down this way. So welcome up. If you want me to show you around, I can introduce you to some folks that you haven't seen in a while, some teams.
No, it's cool, man. I don't take advice from people that I'm beating, but we'll keep running the tables. Maybe you get to have this type of conversation with me next week. It depends. I'm really excited about this coming week because the bye weeks are actually on a bye this week. All 32 teams will be playing. There will be 16 games. So all those cards that you've accumulated throughout the season, now you got to really put it to the test based on the matchups.
Can I brag since I've never not been in the top 10?
You may, but you have 30 seconds.
Cool. No. I was just asking. I'll just use it when I need it.
20 seconds.
I'm done.
Yeah, so rounding out towards the bottom, though, I mean, look, again, we have some teams that haven't cracked 300 yet.
Crazy.
Hopefully we'll get to that point at the end of this week, and everybody will then therefore be sent their card. We have a couple teams that did pop over the 300 mark this week. So in addition to the award cards, they will be receiving their free playing card as well.
What teams are those?
Let me see. I can pull it up on this chart.
My
Question out of left field here, huh?
I did play my own cards this week and actually wound up 3 slots higher than I was last week.
There you go. You gotta trust your traffic judgment.
And you did ask which card to pick up, and I said the Vikings card was one of the options, Frank. And that I think did you play that?
I believe so. We'll have to check.
Yep.
But I listened to both these.
Okay.
So the teams that popped over the 300 mark this week, we have Team Sugar Mania, we have Team No Mercy Rule, Team Unmeta Athletes, which is another cool NFT project, Team Butt Punt Safety Meetings, and Team The Hummyverse Hanks.
All right, good. So all of them will get a card, and hopefully the other ones will get one coming up here shortly. So what do you want to do, man? You want to chat about? You want to just any games specifically you want to chat about, or what do you want?
Yeah, there's a few, man. I mean, obviously, I'm surprised that if I had to put money on it, I would have said that opening video would have definitely had some sort of a punt return reference. Let's open it up with that one. I mean, we talked about it offline, I guess, after the game, but that Jets Patriots game, man, as least offensive production as there was, it was actually one of those weird 3-3 games that was really entertaining to watch. And then naturally, everything just kind of unfolded for the Jets in the final minute where New England ran a punt return back for a touchdown with 5 seconds remaining. Arguable questionable call and block in the back.
You would have won anyway.
Admitted that it would have been, but how interesting would that call have been if there was zeros on the clock?
Yes, then it would have been a good call. They still would have won because they would have been in field goal range. Again, I guess the field goal kicker did miss one, and the wind was crazy. But the Patriots most likely still would have won that game. But it was crazy, and you're right, dude. That actually was fun to watch for a 3-3 game, especially when it's your team. Usually, that's like the Vikings and the Lions, or something, or the Browns or something. But this happened to be the Patriots. It was fun, man. The defense was like sacking like crazy. I think there's probably like 11 or 12 total sacks in that game. Couple interceptions that could have happened, so that for a 3-3 game, it was a lot of action happening. So, and it was nice to see the Patriots take out the Jets. Now the Patriots are in 6th place and in the playoff race. So I think I'm excited about that. They go and play 4 of their next games are at nighttime, which suck because this is when I wish I lived on the West Coast so I could actually get to bed at a decent hour. But they start at 8:20 the next 4 games. They play on Thursday. They go up to Minnesota and the land of nothing to do but watch Vikings games. They play the Vikings on Thanksgiving night.
That'll be fun.
Do you watch all the games?
I do have the ticket, so I can flip and watch them, but I do the ones that are I have my cards in and have skin in the game. I absolutely do flip through those, and you can have 4 games or something at once on the screen, which is kind of cool.
Huh. Okay.
Yep. So bottom line, New England pulled it out, man. They got a really tough schedule heading down the stretch here, and still arguably one of the tougher divisions in the league. So we'll see how everything shapes up with them. The Jets, on the other hand, have a lot of question marks offensively. I don't think they barely broke 100 yards total offense for the game. I heard rumors that Zach Wilson is going to be benched for Joe Flacco.
That's
who
rough.
knows how that's going to play out? But
when I was doing the thumbnail for the live stream of this stuff, Zach Wilson was going to be on this thing. This is why I didn't do this in the opener. He was going to be on the thumbnail 3 out of the last 4 weeks. So we don't want this to look like it's a Jets podcast or show. So that's one of the reasons that fumble or that punt did not make it into the show today.
Well, we both have our hatred for the Jets for different reasons, but I I would be okay with having a parody of Zach Wilson every week. I don't really care.
Yeah, he sucks, man.
Let's talk about the other walk-off win in Mile High, the game that nobody really cared about because it's two teams that I guess had very high expectations that, don't have 4 wins yet. There we go. Broke it out a little bit late, but
The kids are home from school this week, so they're watching it over here. It must be supposed to be catching up on homework that they missed. But I was wearing my New York joke shirt, so he's a producer. He's the producer of the show.
There you go. Had to get the plug in. So back to Mile High. I mean, Vegas and Denver, two teams that had very high expectations, haven't done much at all this year. It was really cool to see a game end the way it did. Vegas did beat Denver twice this year, but that walk off in overtime, I don't know how a guy like Devontae Adams gets that wide open in overtime, but Carr found him and they walked it off. So good for them. Russell Wilson suffers another defeat. Starting to really question that move, whether it was the right decision for him to, really try to part ways with Seattle, but it is what it is at this point.
Did he try to part ways with Seattle?
There was friction. I know that there was some friction, and I don't want to say that he officially said he wanted out, but I think he was starting to butt heads a little bit with some management and the coaching staff. But, they clearly got something in return for him. And, Denver threw a lot of chips in that pile, and they haven't really got anything in return for it. In fact, they became sellers at the deadline. They got rid of Nick Chubb. They sent him to Miami. They kept on to Jerry Jeudy. I don't know what kind of move that's going to play out, but he was hurt this week. They didn't have him as a receiver. A lot of question marks in Denver right now, man, and you can almost write off the rest of the year because they got some really tough games coming up too in the division.
Yep. It sucks when your team is out of it at this point in the season. You New Yorkers are used to that stuff, but it is what it is. You got a couple more weeks to bank on today.
Yeah, speaking about that other New York team, man, they better get their shit together. Like, that defeat to the Lions was embarrassing at home. I don't know what the hell happened with that. Detroit is a team that completely falls apart in the second half every week. And this week they just, they played a complete game. And, that they do have a surefire offense. They've kind of showed that all year long. And the Giants' luck, I mean, we have this debate about Daniel Jones all the time. I just, is he that guy? I don't know. But they lost some really key players to injury for the rest of the year. Who knows if this is the beginning of the end for that team? They still are in a very competitive division. Dallas flexed its muscles against Minnesota this weekend. Philly skated by the Colts, and, they still hold the top spot in the NFC. Washington is actually one of the most improved teams at this point of the year. I think they've won 5 of their last 6. They're sticking with the young blood. They're going to bench Wentz, and they're going to use Wentz in certain capacities. But Washington is a team that you got to keep your ear to the ground about, because if they can make some moves against those division games, they can sneak into the playoffs pretty easily.
I threatened last week to play my Giants win-loss card. I was the only one on the panel out of 4. There was 4 of us then. Now there's 3, but the only one to pick the Giants to lose that game. I was pretty confident with it, and I almost played my win-loss card if the Chiefs weren't playing the Chargers, but that almost came back to bite me in the ass.
I had a Giants offensive card, I think, or defensive card. Now I'm wondering if that would have been a better move to play than what I did.
This past week, for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely this past. But, yeah, that Chiefs-Chargers game, man, like, you were probably sweating bullets on that one.
I went to bed, so I was good. But I woke up, my internet was slow, so it was like trying to refresh and see what the final score was, and finally caught it.
It was a good ending. It was a really good ending. I mean, I think the majority of us picked Kansas City to win that game. Maybe I didn't. I don't remember.
I can tell, yeah. Oh, yeah, we all did. All of us.
Yeah, it's a tough game to go against the Chiefs with. Chiefs are clearly running the table in the AFC right now. Buffalo's faltered a little bit. They did have that road game or that home game in Detroit, and ironically, they're playing Detroit again on Thanksgiving. So they're playing back-to-back games in that stadium. Buffalo just got crushed with snow. I think it ended up being 77 inches of snow overnight, which is nuts. And they said they would have played the game if they just had a way to get the fans to the stadium safely. And, That would have been interesting to watch. Mountains of snow coming down in that game. But
I can see this happening now that the Patriots are going to play the Bills in the playoffs. It's a little cold out, maybe a little snow in the forecast, and they go up and go into a dome because they are a better dome team. I could see that sets precedent to just play in your damn stadium. Play in your damn stadium.
I mean, 7 feet of snow or 6 feet of snow overnight is a little nuts. You can't even walk through the stands. Like, if you saw any photos of the stadium, dude, it was absolutely nuts. So I kind of understand the move. I don't agree with it. I agree with you. Football should be played in any weather. Even, you can't make it to the game, tough shit. But I don't see them pulling that kind of card, taking a playoff game out of Buffalo. There's no chance. And that's assuming that they end up playing New England, which also I predict has no chance. New England's schedule is too tough. I'm going to say they're outside looking in at come the end of December.
I don't think so. Here's why. I think they're going to be right. You hear it first. I think they win this week against the Vikings. I never thought the Vikings were all that great anyway. I think they have a cupcake schedule. And so I think the Patriots win. Mac Jones make me a little nervous with that, but we'll see. I think the Vikings are who they thought they were. Did Denny Green say that?
Yep.
Did he say that when he was with Minnesota? No, he said with Arizona.
Arizona.
That's right. But I think they are who I think they are anyway. We'll find out on Thursday. The Patriots also play the Cardinals. They play the Raiders.
They play the Raiders.
Yep. If they go 10-7, they're in the playoffs. And especially with the Chargers losing, now they're 5-5. They've got 2 on the Jets. So I think the Patriots have a better than 50% chance to make the playoffs on that. So do we talk playoffs now, or do we make our picks real quick and then talk about the playoffs?
Yeah, let's just get our picks out of the way so we can spend the rest of the show talking about the playoff format, because that's what I'm really excited about, man. I'm pumped to get this information out there and really start seeding out what the rest of the season is going to look like for the UNfantasy League.
Yep.
And
anybody here can make their picks. Last week, Linda made her picks. She ended up at 10-4 record. So it was 11-3 me, 10-4 Krista, 9-5 Frank, 10-4 Linda, 8-6 Mike. So I expect that same thing to happen, but let's run through our picks real quick. Anybody can jump in.
The stats update yesterday, right? Because I'm guessing Sunday they play games. So is that when everything changed? Because I might have looked ahead of time to see.
So the updates occur we try to just basically set a precedent that as of Tuesday morning, all of the standings are final. But I pull the late nights after each of the games on Thursday nights, Sunday nights, and Monday nights, and I update the lineups accordingly after the day's games are completed. In the tail end of December, we're going to start getting into Saturday games. We're going to see how that all shapes up, but that's going to all work into the way the playoff picture and the format works out. But traditionally throughout the season, we've been very consistent about updating all of the all of the standings for the week and the overall standings, along with the metadata on the blockchain after the Thursday night games, after the Sunday night game, and after the Monday night game.
Okay. So then what I saw the other day, maybe a couple of days ago, but then last night, new stuff might have happened. So then that's why my stats are different today.
Yeah, so the way it works out is that in the standings, if you look at the overall standings, you'll see that the last update is designated at the top here. So that's the most recent time slot. And if you happen to be looking on the blockchain, just at either on the owner's pass or the playing cards, you'll also see a date designated on when the last update occurred.
Okay, cool. Well, that's good to know. All right, I got it. Yeah,
Okay.
So I didn't know it happened. I just thought it happens once a week. I didn't realize it happened like multiple times during the week.
Yeah, I mean, we try to keep it multiple times just simply because, like, in the middle of the week, you'll have the the Thursday game, and then there's a couple days in between. So if you wanted to see how your teams did after the Thursday game, if we have the ability to make the update, we get it up there.
And can you change your cards? No. So once it's done for the week, your cards are set for the week. But
if that team plays, you can't change the card.
Okay.
So if your team has not played yet, you still can change the card up until the moment that team plays. So, for example, if Buffalo is playing New England on Thursday night and you have a Buffalo or a New England card in your lineup, As soon as that game starts, those particular cards are locked. You cannot change out that scoring category or that team.
But I could change before, say, a Sunday, like Thursday happened, and now if I wanted to on Friday or Saturday, I could change my mind for before the Sunday games.
As long as it's not the teams that played on Thursday, correct? Yes, you can.
Okay, I'm trying to,
Yep. No, it's going to be important come playoff time, and we'll get to that. Let's plow through these, man, because it's exciting. We got all the teams back in action this week. It is Thanksgiving, so happy Thanksgiving from all of us to you guys. I mean, we absolutely had a blast so far this year. It's only going to get better with the playoffs, but obviously very thankful for everybody who jumped in on this league. Couldn't have done it without you guys for sure, and it's been fun. It's been fun working my way from 52nd place all the way up to 7th for now.
Here it comes.
And it's just the beginning here.
I mean, I started smiling the moment because I was like, he's just being too nice here. Here comes the shit sandwich. And there was no nice on the end of that, by the way. It was just bread and shit. So I knew what you were trying to do the moment you started.
And I served it to you below me in the standings.
Yep.
First game, Thanksgiving Day. Obviously, we're fighting the World Cup here too, by the way. So a lot of things happening on Thursday. But Buffalo heads to Detroit. Again, we just mentioned Buffalo playing their second straight game in Detroit. Where do you see this playing out?
Detroit loses that game, I think.
Frank?
Buffalo's playing. I'm going to go with John on this one.
All right.
I'm going to agree too.
All right.
4:00 game. Giants go to Dallas. This is actually the first time they're playing this year. Maybe the Giants kind of overlooked Detroit this past week, started preparing for a team like Dallas. Maybe Dallas is done with the NFC North and they're coming home and they got a little bit of relaxation on their minds. Do you think the Giants can pull it off?
I go with Giants losing, and I love how you put the inflection up on the end of that, like a salesperson, to try to make me think that I was going to go along with you. The Giants were going to win, but no, the Giants are losing this one, buddy.
I got Cowboys losing.
Okay.
Okay. And they just lost the Giants, right? And nobody expected them to lose. Is that what just happened this week, especially to the Lions?
I think it was an upset if you look at it on its face value.
I'm going to add Linda here and Jack in here for their picks too, for whatever they get.
All right. Yeah, everybody seems to be saying that Dallas is going to win this one. And I'm thinking the Giants might be a little demoralized after a loss to the Lions, considering that was seemingly not supposed to happen. So I'll go with the Giants lose.
All right. Mike's the only one there that's picking. I've been playing with your heart a little bit. I think I've heard that before thrown back at me, but it worked out because my team won.
We'll see how that goes with this next pick, which is a game that you probably will be in a food coma for. But Patriots do go to Minnesota, end up playing the Vikings. What do you think is going to happen there?
Market Patriots win, which means the Vikings lose.
I'm gonna jump on Team Jack for this one. New England's offense is awful, and I think that Minnesota can easily play pound for pound with the best of them. And I think that whatever happened this week was a fluke, and they jump right back onto the winning wagon this coming week and make your prediction useless because the Patriots are going to fight an uphill battle trying to get into the playoffs.
I'm going to root for the Vikings to win this one just because they're Vikings and we're Vikings, and
Okay.
And Jack's my buddy.
Mike is the only one that chose his team. I'm the only one that chose my team.
Oh, Jack.
So
there we go. Atlanta goes to Washington. I say Atlanta loses. Washington's been on fire.
They've been good, man, but I'll go with Atlanta losing.
I almost feel just inclined to agree with you since everybody's saying that.
All right. Remember the intro.
Baltimore goes to Jacksonville. Lamar Jackson's been playing a little bit better. Baltimore's defense definitely showed up this past week. Jacksonville's coming off the bye. Dangerous team at home this year, ironically, but I think the Ravens win.
Yeah, Jacksonville loses for sure.
Oh, okay. I have some Jacksonville cards, I think. So that'd be good if they suck this week.
All right.
Is
Got
that
it.
your pick?
What?
Was that your pick?
Sure.
Cool.
I'm
Bears
making
go
it
to the
easy.
Meadowlands, face off against the Jets. Again, the Bears offense is only Justin Fields. I don't know what that means as part of the way the Jets lost this coming week. I'm going to say the Bears win.
Yeah, I was going to say, do the Jets ever win?
The Jets are actually having a pretty decent season comparatively to what they have been. They've won some really good games, all on the backs of their defense, but I think their offense is in way too much shambles right now. And frankly, I don't know if the Jets defense can shut that type of quarterback down yet. We haven't seen that happen. They're good with the pocket passers, but the scramblers like that, I don't think it's doable at this point. So I think the Jets are going to lose at home.
All right.
I just think the Jets always lose, so I'll go with that. But whatever you just said, none of that made any sense to me. So
So you're saying Jets lose?
I say Jets lose, yeah.
yeah,
Okay. I'm going with Chicago losing on this one. It is in the Meadowlands. So Jets have played good. The Jets have beat the Bills and the Dolphins as well. So everybody's like, Patriots aren't for real. They only beat the Jets. But then are the Jets for real? Because the Jets beat the Dolphins. The Dolphins for real? And they beat the Bills. So
this was an old parody tease sketch, right? Like if we beat you and you beat them, does that mean we could beat them?
you beat the team that beat the team that beat the team that beat the team.
And it's always that division. I think that joke was actually in the AFC East.
It may be. It may be.
Bengals go down to Tennessee. This is actually going to be one of the better games of the week. Tennessee has been playing well, mostly revolving around Henry and the running game. But Cincinnati's offense is back to being the firepower it was. There's rumors that I guess Jamar Chase is going to return, which is just going to add another weapon to that offense. But Mixon has been playing really well out of the backfield, not only rushing the ball, but doing those little swing passes and screen passes. Burrow has, I think, a few games this season with over 4 touchdowns. And he's always a threat on, those first and short inside the 5. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to say Cincinnati wins on the road in Tennessee.
Okay, so Tennessee loses. For you, I'm going to say Cincinnati loses on that.
yeah, I got to root for Tennessee because they're my owner's pass.
Okay, which we'll come up to in a minute here with your owner's pass. So
Yep.
you want Tennessee to lose or you want them to win?
Well, it doesn't matter what my owner's pass is when
No,
they
yeah, no.
lose, right? And I kind of like Tennessee
Okay.
and the Titans. So yeah, I'll say they're going to win.
Okay.
And that's my expert advice.
Yes. It's just as good
Denver.
as the other experts in the room.
That's right. That's right. It's a coin flip either way.
I did pretty well with my calls based on my logic last week. Not
Yeah.
too bad.
Yep. All that traffic talk definitely made it worthwhile.
See?
Denver heads to Carolina. This is one of those other who cares games.
Right.
Carolina, they had some life, didn't really do much over the last couple of weeks. I guess they had a little bit of a dogfight this past week, but I'm going to say that they beat Denver at home.
All right. I'll go with Denver
Denver's
losing.
Broncos, right? What's North Carolina?
Panthers.
I'm trying to think of Panther. I think a Panther would take down a Bronco.
I think a Panther would be afraid of a Bronco, though.
Well,
I'm-
yeah, because Panthers are smaller, right? They're like mountain lions. Huh?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know. But if they're in a pack, meh. Okay, I'm going to say Panthers win. I still think a Panther would take down a Bronco.
Who would you rather fight? One
Neither,
panther-sized
to be
horse
honest.
or 100 horse-sized panthers?
One Panther-sized horse.
Yeah, the joke is who would you rather fight? One duck-sized horse or 100 duck-sized horses?
Horse-sized ducks.
Yeah.
Horse-sized. Oh, I think I would go with the one horse-sized duck. I feel like I could outmaneuver that a little better than 100. You've seen what happened in like Jurassic Park with all those little
Yeah.
things. Yeah, that would be
No, even
terrifying.
look, you have like some bread out there, like ducks running at you. You still I'm still like getting away a
Yeah.
little bit, right? When they come
Yeah,
at you
man.
waddling. So
All right, seashells by the seashore. Houston heads to Miami. Miami wins this game.
Miami
I don't
wins this
like
game.
Miami, so I'm going with Houston.
Did we
Miami
finish
is
the other
on-
ones? Did we finish the Denver one or oh yeah?
I don't know. Who'd you pick? You said Denver loses.
Denver loses. Yeah, Denver
Yeah.
loses. Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I got Jack's pick in here and Lynn's pick.
And
All
I
right.
said the Panthers win, right? Yeah, Denver loses because
Okay, that's
Panther
right.
would beat the Bronco.
Yeah. So, Texans in Miami. Miami's just one of those teams that's on the right track right now. We'll see if they continue it after their bye week. This is one of those games that could be a potential upset, but I think Miami takes care of business.
Yeah, I would say Houston. I would say Houston loses this.
This might be one of those good win card
The
win
Astros?
to play. The what?
The Astros?
No, that's baseball.
Which one's Houston?
The Texans.
The what?
Texans.
The Houston Texans?
Yep.
That's the name of their team?
Yep.
Well, that's just silly. I don't know.
They used to have a team called the Houston Oilers, but they moved to Tennessee and became the Tennessee Titans.
Okay. Which is actually a better name than the Houston Oilers, but the
I know, but the franchise rights lie in Tennessee. The
Right.
colors too, actually.
But they couldn't be more creative with their name. You know what? I don't like their name. They're going to lose.
I like
Okay.
it too. Yep. All right. Yep.
Beef against Texas.
It's in
I like
Miami,
the
or where is
state
it?
of Texas. I just
It's
think
in
they
Miami,
could
yeah.
have done a better job with naming the team.
Yeah, it's in Miami,
All right.
where they played very well last week, by the way. Buccaneers go up to Cleveland. Pretty sure that's going to be a chilly game. Cleveland has been playing awful. Tampa's coming off the bye. I say Cleveland loses at home.
I'm going to root for Pirates on this one.
So Cleveland loses. I feel like the Bucks could still lose this game. I'm going to go with the upset and say the Bucks lose, but
Well,
let me see.
if your pick is accurate, I hope Donovan People-Jones and Nick Chubb have career games because I need a victory on traditional fantasy as well. But I just, Cleveland's Cleveland. There's just no other way to explain it.
Yep.
Chargers go to the desert, face off against the Cards. Technically, the Cards played a home game last night in Mexico City and got absolutely demolished by San Francisco. Kyler Murray did not play. They lost a couple other receivers. I mean, Arizona's just hurting, man. They went 7-0 to start the season last year and have been in a tailspin ever since. I'm going to say the Chargers win this game.
So Arizona loses is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's what you're telling me. I'm gonna say the Chargers. I'm gonna say Arizona loses. We're all picking the same ones here.
Maybe it's just one of those weeks where we all are geniuses or we all are horrible.
Yeah, I have a Chargers card and I have a couple Cardinals cards. So I really hope they do a lot shittier, so that I'll play those cards. So let's hope the Cardinals lose.
All right.
Rams go to Kansas City.
Rams go to Kansas City. Rams
This
lose.
is kind of a no-brainer. I say the Rams lose as well.
It's a Kansas City team. I'll get these eventually.
Chiefs.
The Chiefs.
Ironically, the Chiefs are formerly the Dallas Texans.
I didn't know that.
Okay. So Kansas City
Useless
Chiefs
facts of the day.
versus
Say that again.
Kansas City Chiefs are playing.
The Los Angeles Rams,
I don't
formerly
like
of
Los
St. Louis.
Angeles. Oh, okay. I told you we don't like LA because of the traffic. So let's go for the Kansas City Chiefs for the win.
They used to have a game every year. I forget what they called it, but it was like East Missouri versus West Missouri. So there is some history between these teams in some capacity. I'm sorry, I didn't hear your pick. What did you say?
I'm gonna Kansas
Stop
City for the
talking.
win.
Stop talking useless facts.
Hey, man, I'm educating people
You
here.
know, facts are useless facts, John.
Vegas goes up to Seattle. Seattle's coming off a bye, coming off of a trip to Germany. Vegas coming off that walk-off win. I mean, Seattle definitely needs the win to stay on par with San Francisco. They actually haven't lost to San Francisco earlier on this year. So if they're buying for a seat in the playoffs from that division, they better win this game. But I think that they're going to lose to Vegas.
Wow, I'm saying Vegas loses.
Yeah, that's a I'll go with Seattle wins.
Okay, Vegas loses.
I have logic behind that. I know
Yep.
nothing about the teams.
Saints go out to San Francisco. They're going to be playing the Monday night victors for this past week, who looked phenomenal. San Francisco's rolling, man. They're using Christian McCaffrey very, very well. I think that they're onto something with the way that offense is kind of unfolded throughout the year. You got Kittle that's really kind of coming alive. Deebo Samuel is always a threat. I say San Francisco wins that game.
Yep, New Orleans loses that game.
Mike sold me. I'm going with same.
Okay.
Sunday night, Green Bay heads into Philly. Philly obviously lost that home game in prime time to Washington. We all know the story about Green Bay and what they haven't been able to do this year.
I thought you were going to tell us the history of Green Bay. I was waiting for it.
No, there's not enough time in the day to say the history of them. But this is going to be one of those tough games to pick, man. Is Philly for real? They've made some serious moves on their D line.
I'm rooting for Philly because I love their cheesesteaks. I'm just going with that.
Okay. So
You love the cheesesteaks, so you're going up against the place where all that cheese comes from.
Wow. That's a good call.
Yeah, but I'm gonna. Yeah. That's it. You made me think about it, but
I've never thought that. I put two and two together.
that's really just. They don't make all the cheese. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm sure they import cheese from other places.
There you go.
Yeah, dude, there's so many
You gotta
Amish
use
people
it
in Pennsylvania. They curd in the cheese as well. So don't worry. He's distracting us.
So
yeah, that's just trying to throw me off.
Frank's going to go with an Amish cheesesteak sandwich. I'm going to go with Philly winning the game. And
I said Philly's going to win because I like their cheesesteaks.
Yep.
All right, got you.
Pittsburgh goes into Indy. Indy's been playing well at home this year. They upset the Chiefs earlier on. They just squeaked out a loss, or barely lost to the Eagles at home this past week. Linda, is Pittsburgh for real? Could they do something? I mean, I'm going to go ahead and say that Indy loses, and I'm going to give a very weird reason why. Mike Tomlin does not have losing seasons, and I still feel and believe that he has the ability to eke out some sort of a winning season. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins in Indy.
Okay, I'm saying Pittsburgh loses. And he's going to have a losing season this year. There's zero chance about that.
I don't know. I have good friends in Pittsburgh, and I hope their team wins for them. So I'm going to say Pittsburgh wins.
Okay, so Indy loses.
I don't want them to feel bad.
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. Now that that's out of the way, any other comments about the games coming up, Thanksgiving games, before we jump into unfantasy playoffs, or you want to jump right into that?
No, I think it's going to be tough to figure out a winner of this. Most of us pick the same picks, but we'll figure it out. I will tally them up like last week.
Cool. And maybe people should be asking your advice. All righty.
Are you referring to me?
No.
Oh.
No.
I asked both your
this
advice.
is free to hit up John on Telegram and see what his picks are so that they can place their bets. All right. Unfantasy playoffs.
I'm excited to hear what you guys
we
have.
have been trying to figure out a solution for a couple weeks. We backed around a few different ideas, and I think we got a really cool one. One that's going to keep everybody engaged all throughout the rest of the season. We're going to have a nice little bracket system set up where the actual icon on your owner's pass is going to come into play here in a couple different ways. So we said at the beginning of the season that your owner's pass icon holds value. We didn't really define what all that value is until a couple points in the season. If that team lost, we sent you some cards every now and then. there has been some, I believe 1 week we even had it where, if you beat out the other owner that had the same icon, then, or the combination of that, then you guys would end up winning a card as well. Now we have a really, really cool way to align it for the rest of the season with respect to the way the NFL is formatted. So just to give a brief overview on the way that football is broken down, there's 32 teams. There's 16 teams in each conference. There's 2 conferences. There's the NFC and then there's the AFC. So of the 16 teams, each of those 16 teams are broken into 4 divisions. So you have the East, North, South, and West in each respective conference. So there's 8 divisions, 2 conferences, 32 teams. Because of the way that our owners pass are formatted, we have actually replicated the divisions from the NFL, and the division that your owner's pass team sits in is what's going to determine your playoff status. So that's an overview of what we're talking about. I'm going to show you a visual now. These are updated based on, I guess, all the way up and through week 11.
So basically, your owner's pass team in real life is in a specific conference and a specific division. So we're going to use that as a way to group people together, which will show from there.
Give me a second. Let me move this over here. Okay. All right. So this is the teams that are designated in the NFC. So in the NFC East, you have New York, the Giants, you have the Eagles, the Redskins, the Commanders, the Cowboys. Okay, so if you have any of those teams on your owner's pass, you fall into the division of the NFC East. NFC North is Green Bay, Minnesota, Chicago, and Detroit. NFC South is Carolina, Tampa Bay, Atlanta, and New Orleans. And the NFC West is Arizona, Seattle, San Francisco, and the LA Rams. So looking at your owner's pass, you're going to be able to determine where you fit in the playoff structure. Now, the way that playoffs traditionally work is going to be a little different from the way that we've set it up here in the UNfantasy League. Officially, everybody's score and every week all the way through the end of the season will count and will be accumulated in the overall standings. However, at the end of week 13, on Monday night game at the end of week 13, the playoff structure will be finalized. The teams making the playoffs will be the top 4 in each division. It doesn't matter what team you have. It really just matters on, do you have more points than the other teams in the division? The top 4 teams will be added into what we're unofficially calling the losers bracket, because in this league, losers win, right? So that's technically the top tier bracket is the losers bracket. The loser bracket will consist of 16 teams from each respective conference. And the way it's going to work is the top team in each division will automatically get a bye week. Now, again, their points will count towards the overall standing, so they still play for that given week. It's just that in the bracket, they are automatically gifted the bye. So they move on to week 15 in the first round. They are guaranteed a seat in that particular playoff structure. The remaining 3 teams in the division will face off against the other teams in that conference in a 3-team head-to-head. We're calling this week the wild card week. So 3 teams will face off against each other. Whichever of those 3 teams have the highest score for week 14 will move on in the playoffs to week 15. The other 2 teams are eliminated. Guys, stop me if I'm not explaining this correctly.
Frank, it's perfect to have you on here, man. So what do you get out of this, and what do you want to go over?
I think I'm following along. I'm trying to, but I'm also a little distracted because I got one of my dogs is hounding me to take him out right now.
All right. Okay, so we'll get through this stuff. So
I
you're
know
specific.
if I need to do bad to make it to the next thing and not get eliminated.
Yep. So for you specifically, on your owner's pass, you said is Tennessee, right?
Yes.
So you're going to be in the, what do we got? The AFC South division.
Yep, correct.
And everybody that also has an owner's pass that are in the AFC South division will compete. Top four move on to the playoffs, the losers bracket, which is our winners bracket. The first place is going to get an automatic entry into the next round, so they skip around. The other three battle it out to face the leaders of each division all the way through the playoffs.
Okay,
Yep.
that's easy. I got it.
So the winner of those 3 games will move on to week 15. The winners of those games will move on to week 16. The winners of those games move on to the conference championship round, which is round 3. And obviously the winner of that game moves on to the championship, which is what we're, threw in as a placeholder for now.
Yeah, we need help. If people have ideas of what to name these things, we've exhausted our brain power with the
we
brackets.
definitely want to hear your thoughts on what you want to call the respective rounds and obviously the championship. But again, all of this is simply a side bracket, a side tournament. All of the teams' point totals on a week-to-week basis will still count towards the overall standings. And then we're actually going to have what we're going to call our winners bracket, which is essentially all the teams that did not make the playoffs. They will be in a combined format, just like you see in the standings today. We can even have it so that there could be an NFC version and an AFC version, and the 2 top teams from those respective conferences will square off in the winners bracket championship on week 18 as well.
Yep. So either way, if you're in the losers bracket, which is the top 4, or the consolation, it's a consolation, right? It's like all the way through this stuff, we're going to tally it up. And like Mike had said earlier, even if you have a bye, like nothing changes, like your cards, the points that your cards accumulate, because again, there's an all-time standings here, right? There's weekly, there's season, and there's all-time. So these are all going to carry over. So any cards that are in your lineup, even if you're not playing with the bye week, is going to add up, and there will continually be weekly standings throughout here. So everybody will get a chance to stay actively involved in winning or losing all the way through the season.
Yep. So we're going to pump out a little bit more content that helps explain this. We'll do a little write-up. We'll get it out there. We'll try to make this as crystal clear as possible, but we wanted to plant the seed now as we head into week 12, because once all of these standings are, and we're going to have a designated playoff page on the website too. So you're going to be able to see not only where the standings are, but you're going to be able to see how many points behind you are if you are trying to fight for that playoff spot. So the last 2 weeks here heading into the playoffs for UNfantasy are going to be critical for you to make the right decisions. And you're still going to have to fight some bye weeks, by the way. The bye weeks are not completed. They're just on pause for this coming week. So just keep that in mind, that the bye weeks will still play a factor into and up through the playoffs. I believe bye weeks end in week 15 or week 14. So even that first wild card round is even going to be more wild because there will be bye weeks associated in that formula as well.
Yep.
So all that being said, this is basically the overview of the way the playoffs are going to be structured. But wait, there's more. Why don't you give the rundown on what else you can expect with your owner's pass?
Yeah, and I hope we're not throwing too much at it at once. But the owner's pass, the logo on your owner's pass, whatever that is. So in Frank's case, you're going to get a Titans wild card, which means that you can play a Titans in any position that you want. Throughout, right? So it's good. It's going to be if you want to play for offense, you got it. If you want to play for penalties, special teams, win-loss, you can play it. You can only play the wild card in one spot. So that's the first thing. With your owner's pass, whatever's on there, you're going to get a wild card to choose from where you want to play, if you so choose. So you may not. You may have a good card that doesn't work in this league, and you don't have to. But we were talking about last week, Frank, full sets, meaning simply your card has the same logo of the team and the same background as the team. So Frank, you picked up after our chat last week on the live stream, you picked up the Minnesota card that had the Minnesota logo and a Minnesota background. That's a full set. So even if your team sucks on your or is too good on your owner's pass, full sets are also going to act as a wild card. So you can use that card, Frank, as a wild card if you think Minnesota's defense is going to suck at some point or their offensive suck. You're going to be able to make that choice. You can only play one wild card again in your lineup per week. So you can't play your owner's pass and a full set for that. But you will have the opportunity. Everybody will have the opportunity to snag a decent wild card to help them through the back part of the season.
Awesome. Okay, that
And
makes sense.
those wild cards will only start counting and be eligible to be played starting in week 14. Okay, so even though you have a full set now, that wild card is not eligible to be played as a wild card until week 14, and it will be activated within the metadata of the actual NFT. So you'll see in the metadata that a trait will appear that indicates if you have a full set and therefore are eligible to play that card in any of the various scoring category positions. As far as your owner's pass, you will be getting a separate NFT with that indicates it is a wild card and it is in conjunction with the logo on your owner's pass. There are no restrictions on wheeling and dealing and buying and selling and trading those wild cards either. So if you have a good team on your owner's pass and you think that you can work out a deal with somebody who perhaps wants one of your better cards or even wants one of those wild cards that you have, don't be shy to, pop into the Telegram and try to work out a deal.
Got it?
Yep, I got it. It.
So I don't want to confuse things, and I know that we're going to explain this a couple different ways and we're going to seed this out week after week. We're probably going to write something up and send it in an email just so that people can reference the point totals. Once everything's up on the website, it's going to become a little bit clearer as well. So just to do a quick recap here, the team on your owner's pass only determines the division that you're in. What the team is doing in real life has nothing to do with the way that you are going to be seeded in these playoffs. The team that the way that you've played your unfantasy team throughout the year and the points that you've accumulated will determine your point total and your standings within that respective division.
So we just continue playing the same way.
Nothing changes. Everything just works exactly the same. Just, again, pay attention because there are going to be points that you're going to want to capitalize on if you're on the outside looking in or if you're on that little bubble.
And we get wild cards. So that's the other thing.
The wild cards will be distributed before week 14, and they will become eligible to be played. And again, to John's point, there's only one wild card eligible to be played within your lineup. And we'll explain this a little bit differently in the way that we write it out. But if you do set an illegal lineup, it will revert back to the previous version of the lineup that you had set. So, Frank, if you have a full set and you're also sent a Tennessee card and you decide that you want to try to sneak in 2 wild cards into your lineup, they will be null and void and they will revert back to your previous lineup that you had set before the wild cards were eligible.
Got it.
So double check. Great. Yeah, and we'll write all this stuff down. We'll explain it again. I know that my kids, I can hear them playing NBA Jam now over there. So I know we lost them because they were excited about figuring out this. I didn't even tell them what the playoff format was going to be like. So we'll go over it all again. But bottom line is it's week 12 now. The playoffs are going to start in 2 weeks. So people have 2 weeks to catch up. And there are people right on the border. Nobody is out of this yet. So where's Frank in regard? I mean, he's got to be up high here, but where's Frank in his points now? And how close is he to being out of the playoffs? So he needs to make sure that he stays on top of his lineup.
So Team 2 Cents is the top team that's outside looking in with 383 points. Team Battle Bunnies is leading the AFC South. Wait a minute. I think Nothing But Fumbles is in there too. Huh? Okay. Battle Bunnies is leading the AFC South with 558 points. So there is a bit of a cushion there, but the separation between 2 Cents and not Terry Bradshaw is about 100 points, which, as we know, could easily happen on a weekly basis.
Yep. So Frank, you and I are in the same division, man. So we are fighting for that first round bye. So whoever has the most points out of us will automatically go to the next round. And so I will be gunning for you, man. Now it's
Which,
like the
okay,
rivalries
so that
have
means
changed.
I have to
It
just
used
make
to
sure I ask Mike for advice.
Yes, there you go. I should have just stopped talking about that there. But the rivalries have changed. It used to be first and 70.3 and me. Now it's the Battle Bunnies.
And Mike will
and
have interest in helping me because we know he wants you to lose. So that really works in my favor.
Unless he thinks you're a better team and he's giving you bad advice because he's,
I mean, you bragged about being at Team Battle Bunnies has been at the top of the standings longer than both of us combined this year. So maybe we are asking the wrong people for advice and should ask Frank based on the traffic results.
Yep.
Why is the bye week important? Well, for obvious reasons, you do not have to worry about being eliminated in that week 14 game. But unlike a traditional head-to-head where you just really have to beat out one team, in this case, you have to beat out two teams. And that could get very interesting based on the way those lineups are set. Again, all of this will be kind of articulated and in some sort of a format which is easy to digest. We will have a playoff section open up on the website this week, which will help, I guess, explain things, and you can reference it and you can formulate your questions. Therefore, you can reach out to us in Telegram. You can send us a chat on the website. We're very responsive with that stuff, and we just want to make sure that you guys completely understand the way these formats are going to work heading into the latter weeks of the season.
Yep. And then by week 14, you'll have your owner's pass logo will be giving you an extra NFT of that exact team, which can be a wild card as well. So, and there's some full sets out there. I think even out, I know we're going to do some free agency stuff here later on today too, but there are at least one full set that I saw out there now. Whether it's good or not, I'm not sure if the team is going to be good. I know Jack won't want it, but either way, full sets definitely make sense to have.
They definitely will. And you've been saying it for a while now. So those who have taken your word seriously are going to reap the reward of that. Anything else that you feel we need to cover with this? I know it's a lot of information right now. Some people might rewatch this over and over again, which is cool because they'll get to hear that I'm ahead of you in the standings again and again.
I think you'd say it was cool because we'll get the watch time, but or for the YouTube channel or something. But which would either way, I don't care.
Yep, that could work too.
Yep.
But Frank, do you have any questions initially on the way this is going to play out, or is it pretty straightforward?
No, I think I'm good. Like, I understand, and then it just always comes down to me just, playing with the cards and understanding football maybe a little better, or just going based on my logic. I think I'm doing well. So, but I do understand how this is going to come down. And honestly, I just got to keep picking shitty teams and sucky cards. That's it.
Anybody that has a Battle Bunny that's also in this league, the winner of that league is also going to get a custom dead boy from Javi, right? So it's important that that there's a lot of other sub leagues along here. So that is one of them. So we got multiple things to win. We want the Battle Bunny win, and we want the main league. So you got to let Frank know where Krista is in the picture before he gets off here, so that she knows where she's at. Is she's on the outside looking in, or is she?
She's in, but she's on the bubble.
She's on the bubble.
Yeah, Team Muffin Punts is winning that division with just under 600 points. Keeping up with the Joneses is at 558. Mad Max 539, and then Krista Kins with 468. So she can actually do some damage over the next couple of weeks by moving up into the top three. But outside looking in is Auntie Football with 443. So there's about a 25-point gap right now between the fifth place and the all-important fourth place, which gets you into the playoffs.
That's a tough division right there. Those are some active players in that division, so that's going to be challenging. We'll see. Some good teams could be out. It's like the AFC East of real life. So,
and look, you'll see this in the website because we are going to do how many points those teams outside looking in are behind in order to get that playoff spot. I mean, if the playoffs started today, or if this went live today, I mean, you would see that, like, in the AFC North division, Team Sugar Mania is beating out Todd3CR.eth by only 0.3 points to solidify that last playoff spot. So that particular division is separating the fourth spot from the seventh spot or eighth spot by only 20 points. it is a crapshoot for that particular last spot in that division. So so much football left to be played, so much maneuvering left in these standings. We will get this up there so that you guys can actually visualize this this explanation and allow you to formulate some thoughts and ask us some questions on it. But I think we're in a good spot to let it ride from here.
All right. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate everybody here. Thank you, Frank.
Thank you for inviting me again. I love hanging out with you guys.
Anytime, man. It's an invite. It's an invite. You got the running invite at any point. So thank you, Dog, for waiting for us. And we'll go from there. We'll see you next week.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy holidays. Happy Thanksgiving. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to take my dog out now.
All right, guys.
Later,
Happy
guys.
Thanksgiving. All right, go Patriots.